What's up? It's your boy Matty Cuts, and I got another tutorial for y'all, man. On this one, man, I'm gonna show y'all how I felt like I did a mistake, or not a mistake, but I feel like I saved it, or let's just say, shit, we gonna see with the result. Let's see how we did it. But I do want to say this probably was one of the hardest cuts that I've had lately. It was supposed to be a simple low taper, a low mid taper, and man, it got difficult. Um, because I usually give them a low fade. It's my first time giving them a taper. I don't know what it was, but come on, let's go through the process. So I put in my guideline with the trimmer, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use my shaver. Shave right below it. Then, as we know, we're gonna go with the clipper open, and I've said it in my other videos. The way I do it is I go clipper open halfway, and then I close. So right there is open, just setting my guideline, and then halfway, and then I close it all the way. As you can see, when I went just right open, you can already see there's some like discrepancies within his hair on how it grows. So I feel like maybe that might be it. But ain't nothing we can't handle. So we're gonna go in there in details. That means we got a detail extra. So now I'm gonna hit it with my trimmers on the lowest, just so that it blends to the shavers. And then from here, I'm gonna go ahead and get my half guard, and I'm gonna start open, right? So right there, I'm going in and I'm flicking out. I'm flicking out, and then same thing. I'm gonna go halfway. And I'm using my corners, especially when it's a smaller area like this. For tapers and stuff like that, you for sure gotta use your corners. That's crucial. So right now I'm going right there close, and you can see how it's going like different angles, different, just because the hair grows a little different there. So right here I went open with no guard, and I'm kind of detailing. I'm using my corners kind of going into that half guard guideline, just because there was still a line there, right? Usually I don't do this, but I don't know, something about it lately. I've been just kind of cleaning it up as I go. So that's my number two, and that's gonna basically just debulk everything so that I'm able to go in with my 1.5. So I'm just flicking into that bulk because he's letting his hair grow, but he definitely wants to keep all that bulk on the side. That's why I'm making sure that I don't take any of that out. So here I'm gonna go with my 1.5 open. Boom. Still trying to keep that shape. Definitely trying to keep the C cups a little dark. So that's why I'm kind of going in that type shape. So right there, that was all the way open. Now I'm halfway. There you go. And then I'm gonna go with my number one open. Flicking into it, just with the corners, just to kind of blend into it. You don't want to create another line. So that's why I say going with your corners, so that you're not going in there and creating another guideline. It just creates a smoother blend like that. So then right below it, because it doesn't blend all the way, we're going to bring in the half guard open, and we're going to use the corners. And in most cases, with most tapers, that would do it where it blends in, right? I don't know, the taper is looking a little rough there, at least in my eyes. So then I'm like, man, I'm gonna move on. Let me just go ahead and line them up. So I went ahead and lined them up around the ear, because usually when you line them up, that's when you see more of the areas pop out a little bit more. So then let me just go ahead and line them up. That way I can come back and then clean it up, right? So now I'm here, I'm doing the C cups now. And let me know in the comments too. I'm right here, just as y'all trying to learn. Being a barber in this industry, you're never gonna stop learning. So the more I cut, the more I learn. So right here, so I did the C cup, and then this when I look back to it, I'm like, damn, all right, it needs a little bit more. So I go with my trimmer again. I'm gonna basically repeat my whole process all over again, and just try to clean it up. So I'm going in with my trimmer, and then I'm going in. Yeah, that's open. So I'm flicking in there open, and as you see, boom. So I'm going halfway. If you can tell, I'm kind of like going a little bit more above my guidelines, because I seen there was a little bit of darkness there. So that's where I'm attacking it. I seen there's a little bit of darkness between the no guard and my half guard. So that's why I went in there, attacked it, and I kind of lightened it up just by doing that. And then right there, this is a number three. So I'm just debulking a little bit more, just so it has a smoother transition in that taper area. That way it kind of blends in a little bit better to the bulk. So as you can see, that's after I touched it up. To me, I felt like I could have done better. In my opinion, I'm not gonna lie, but that's what it's all about. As a barber, you know, you're always gonna go back and you're always gonna see your work, and you're gonna always feel like you do better. But that's okay. So we're gonna continue with the back taper. Now this is where I felt like I messed up, and you guys are gonna see why. I'm gonna go ahead and show you. So I went open, right? Now I'm going halfway. So yes, that's halfway. And then I'm gonna go closed, just flicking into that most bottom guideline. If it's not blurring all the way out, you know, if it's not getting blended all the way out, please don't panic. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and follow it up with the guideline before. So that's gonna mean with the trimmers. I will do that at the end. I don't think I went ahead and did it here. So now I'm gonna go with my half guard open, then halfway. So now I got it closed all the way, right? And I'm hitting the most bottom guideline. And I'm kind of trying to be cautious a little bit. Trying to hit it with the corners. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think it's like blending out all the way. So I'm like, we're gonna have to come back and we're gonna just have to detail even extra. So, but that's part of the game, you know. Not every haircut is gonna be the same. This is what makes it interesting. Haircuts like this, because it made me really reflect, made me go back and really set back on my process and all that stuff, you know. So now I'm going with the number 2. Basically, this number 2, just kind of clearing it up, taking out any bulk, so that I'm able to go in with my 1.5. So here I go with my 1.5 all the way open, and I'm flicking in. The point of putting the 2 first is so that I go on my 1.5 flicking in, and this creates no guidelines. It's kind of blurring, and if there is any bulk on top, I know I'm gonna go with my clip over comb or with my number 2 again. So now I'm going halfway, and when I'm going halfway with the, when I'm halfway, when I have the lever halfway, I'm going up halfway to that guideline. The point is, so now we're here trying to blend between the half guard and the 1.5. So now, since I went halfway with my 1.5, now I'm gonna follow it up with my number 1, just so that it softens it up. Man, this is where I think I'm gonna mess up. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm there, I'm hitting it with my 1.5, right? I'm hitting it with the corners, and already at this point, I'm like, man, it's not lighting it up like I wanted to. The blend is not like that. That's like a very harsh line to just still right there, right? So then I'm like, all right, it's cool. My half guard is gonna do this. My half guard is gonna go ahead and take it out. So then I go in there, corners, right? I'm like, damn, it's not taking it out. So then I start using a little bit more than just the corners. So you see right there, I start using the full blade. And then I think I'm going a little too high. And this happened when I went back and I looked at the video. I'm like, I definitely went a little too high with my half guard. I feel like I could have been a little bit more patient, and I could have just trusted the process to a point where I could have just used my corners a little bit more. So because that happened, it wasn't a big mistake, but what happened was it moved all my guidelines a little bit up. The blurriness was supposed to start between the half guard and the 1.5, and because I pushed it a little bit higher, the blend is gonna show a little bit higher up, which is gonna make it harder for me to blend between the 1.5 and the 2. So I mean, it helped the guideline a little bit between the 1.5 and the half guard. But we created another problem after that, and you guys will see after this. So this is with my half guard halfway closed. I still kept going with the corners. I don't think I should have done that. I rarely do that. So the tapers, you know, it's not looking bad, but there's definitely some bulk right there around the number 2 area. I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Boom. You gotta go back to, you gotta trust the process. So we're gonna go back to the number 2, debulk it a little bit more. We're gonna just push everything up higher, right? So the half guard kind of pushed everything up a little higher. So we're just gonna have to move everything up a little higher. So usually when I'll go back with my number 2 and I flick out like this, it's just so that it just blends to the top. But what I'm seeing now is I'm flicking up to the top, but there's a guideline popping up right below. So now it means I'm gonna have to follow it with my 1.5, than with my number one, and that's all because I went a little bit higher with my half guard. But you know, that's why we're in it. We're here to learn together, and you can learn from my mistakes too. You know, so here I go with my 1.5, trying to take out that line. Boom, boom, boom. You know, and I'm playing a little bit more cautious now. You can see me using my corners with the 1.5. Man, I love this. I love it. You know, just trying to blend it out as much. And then it didn't help that right there by the occipital bone, he had a little bit of a dent. So it makes it a little bit harder to blend, because since he has a little dent, it's gonna look darker in that area. So you do have to hit it with like a little bit lower number in that area, just so that it blends to the hair surrounding it, you know. So I'm here, I'm like, man, it's not coming out. Let me just keep trying. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm doing this, and I'm like, you know what? I think I need to hit it with the number one. So I will go ahead and follow it up with the number one right here. I'm just doing lever play with the 1.5. I'm like, man, I'm getting tired. Let me just blow dry. Let me just clean it all up. Let me clear my eyes. I was like starting to look at other things, so that when I came back and I saw the fade, I knew where to attack it with. And there you go. I thought about the number one, so I'm hitting with the number one in the corners. This should kind of start helping it a little bit more, because we know the number that I brought it up high was with the half guard. So with the number one, it's going to start blending a little bit more. So boom. That's the taper, I believe. So then I'm like, man, let me just leave it alone. Let me move to the front. Usually I just clean out the little baby hairs. He did take about like a month to come back, so the baby hairs did grow a little bit more. Try not to do too much or like try to push him back. I just kind of keep it as natural as possible, especially since he's not used to getting any lineups, and also because he wants to grow his hair. So I just kind of get the little baby hairs, that way it doesn't look too messy in the front, so it looks a little bit crispy. I'm not gonna lie, the taper right here right now looks a little bit better. I think I came back and I cleaned it, I'm not sure, but doesn't look bad from this angle, but definitely could do way better. So I start cleaning up the cheek area, you know, getting all the little stubble, that way when he gets out the chair he feels a little bit fresher. Usually that would be included in the beard and haircut, but you know, I'm like, man, let me just get them right. Usually when it's stuff like that, I'll just do it, you know, in the moment. So that's the final result. So that's the side, you know, did the little lineup on the side of the taper on this side, and look at the taper. It don't look bad. It could have been better, but hey, we gotta take it as it is. And it's your boy Mighty Cuts, and I'll be dropping more.